Hey everyone, happy college football. Welcome to Porcelain Picks. I'm your host, Andrew Fabian. It's Saturday, bright and early. Week 7 action is upon us. It's hard to believe college football season is already this far underway. Let's enjoy every Saturday moving forward. We've got upsets, we've got big games, we've got a lot of scoring. We've got the Penn State Nittany Lions continuing to break my heart and tear it from my soul. But we at Porcelain Picks are here to deliver the locks you need as you scroll atop the porcelain throne. We come into this week 58 and 56. If you tuned into the audit, you saw we went 8 and 11 last week. So we're back this week to deliver you more locks. We've got 18 picks ahead. We're going to add in a couple fun little wrinkles this week. We've got 2 picks from W Mich. So look for those winners. We're also introducing a Dixon special pick of the week. He's going to do 1 pick this week. And then we've got a PTC challenge we're introducing this week. So make sure you subscribe, comment. What did we get right? Where are we going to be dead wrong? Engage with us. Happy college football, everyone. Let's enjoy it. Let's bask in the glory. All right. Jumping into the noon action. We've got Ohio State minus 14.5 at Illinois, kicking off for big noon kickoff. Ohio State yet again. They come into this matchup. Julian Sayin, their quarterback, is steady. This guy is having a huge year. He's a Heisman hopeful. I think he's going to continue to climb the Heisman leaderboard. He's thrown it to a couple good wideouts in Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. I think Ohio State is going to come out of the gates really rocking Illinois in this game. I think Illinois, when they face these big matchups, we saw it against Indiana. Not sure how they're going to play this one out. I think Luke Altmaier is going to have to try to test out his arm. They're going to have to test out the run game. It looks to me Ohio State's only wrinkle is that Russian defense, where they're susceptible to the big run. So we'll see if Illinois can pull that off. I see this game going the opposite direction. I think it goes the same way that Indiana went when Illinois faced them in that big matchup, when Illinois was top 10 earlier this year. I think Ohio State runs away with this one. Take Ohio State minus 14.5. Start your noon window off right. Lock it, flush it for the Buckeyes. All right, Alabama at Missouri. Missouri, a 3.5-point dog at home in this game, facing the Crimson Tide. Over-under is set at 51.5 right now. On the Missouri side, Beau Pribula. It pains me to say, I'm happy for him. Transfer out of Penn State. He was the backup last year to Drew Aller. He's having a huge year so far at Missouri. He can get it done on the ground. He can get it done in the air. He's thrown into a great wideout in Kevin Coleman Jr., a guy I was high on when he was actually a recruit. I was hoping Penn State would have a shot at him. But nonetheless, Beau is throwing to him anyway. Missouri hasn't faced great competition yet this season. This is going to be the biggest test, thus the 3.5-point dog status at home. But I do think Missouri shows up well, especially with the legs of Beau Pribula. Alabama has struggled against running quarterbacks the last few years, and I think that will show up again today. On the Alabama side, Ty Simpson having a great season so far after that first defeat at Florida State. I do think that was a big turning point and something that helped Alabama early on in this year, helped Pete DeBoer. These guys getting that loss out of the way against Florida State, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Ryan Williams, the wideout, this guy is special in big moments, and this could be one today. I'm going to take the Missouri Tigers. That all being said, I think Beau Pribula is going to rush the football for over 60 yards in this game. Alabama's going to have a tough time containing him. Bama may squeak out a victory. Take Missouri plus 3.5 at home. Lock it, flush it. I also think there's points put up on the board in this game. 51.5. Smash the over, lock it, and flush it. Turn the page now. Joey Mack's first Maction lock of the week. We've got Toledo minus 10.5 at Bowling Green. Joey Mack locked this game in at minus 9.5 earlier in the week. At the time of the recording, we're going to give you the legit pick of Toledo minus 10.5, but his bet was minus 9.5. He wanted me to remind you of that. That line got bet up. He was on the right side of that early. Toledo's on a mission this season. After losing to Western Michigan earlier in the year in an upset, Toledo's bounced back. They've got the offensive firepower in this game that's going to be just too much for their rival in Bowling Green. Go with Toledo minus 10.5. Lock it, flush it. All right, the first ever Dixon special, or I should say the first one of 2025. We called it something different the prior years, but Dixon special, Cincy, UCF, the big matchup in the AAC. Cincinnati's been a solid team this season. Close loss to Nebraska early on this year. They've got Braden Sorsby. He's a dual threat quarterback. This guy can beat up opposing defenses. He did beat Iowa State last week. Cincinnati, 10.5-point favorite. Dixon says lock it up, flush it up on Cincy minus 10.5. All right, we'll have more Dixon specials coming up this season as we progress. UCLA at Michigan State. It pains me to do this, but I think UCLA's really turned it on. Penn State came out just walking like a zombie last week. We all know that. They weren't up for that game whatsoever against UCLA. They didn't want to be there. But UCLA, you got to give them a lot of credit. The Jerry Neuheisel story is incredible. Calling his first game ever as an offensive coordinator. The 33-year-old only found out he was going to be calling plays 2 days in advance. This guy's got some energy to him. The offense looks alive. Nico is running the ball like a madman. If they could do that and slice and dice Penn State's defense, they can do it against Michigan State too. Take UCLA plus 7.5 in this team's turnaround of the season. I don't think they're a great team by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think Aiden Childs and Michigan State are either. They're off of 2 straight losses, make it 3. UCLA is going to win this game outright, but take the points, 7.5, lock it, flush it to payday. All right. Speaking of Penn State, Northwestern, 21.5-point dog at Penn State. The most boring matchup you can get if you're a Penn State fan. It's homecoming, welcoming in Northwestern. It's a stripe-out game with a little bit of an eye roll there. The seats are not going to be full for this game. Penn State faithful like myself, we're upset with this team. We're upset with James Franklin. We're upset with the effort we're seeing from the football team. A lot of that goes back to coaching. I think the coordinators are not getting it done. There's no excuse to not be ready to play against UCLA. I think it's going to be different this week. I think Penn State's going to walk away with the victory. But Northwestern, their sluggish style, they actually beat UCLA 17-14, believe it or not. Transitive property doesn't apply here. But I do like Northwestern to keep this one too close for comfort for Penn State. I think there's going to be a lot of booing in this game from the crowd. I think that hurts the players, so I don't necessarily agree with booing the team or booing Franklin. We want these players to feel supported if we're Penn State faithful. We want the recruits to see that we support the players through thick and thin. They're not seeing that right now. A couple decommits that for some reason, people are surprised about. Of course, they're going to decommit when we're just trashing the team. Let's stop that, Penn State and Nittany Lion fans. Let's support the team. We're not going to get a lot of that. I'm not going to convince a lot of you, especially when Northwestern covers this game. Plus 21.5. Lock it, flush it. Let's move on. Brighter pastures ahead. We've got Wake Forest. Sneaky good team. Dixon reminds me, I said that just a couple weeks ago when they lost by 1 in the game they should have beat Georgia Tech. Wake Forest minus 2.5 at Oregon State. Oregon State's 0-6. They're a bad team this year. Smash Wake, lock it and flush it at minus 2.5. This is one of the best bets of the week. Oklahoma and Texas. The Red River Shootout. Huge game this week. It's a huge game every season. The only trouble here is that Texas has 2 losses. They haven't looked great. Arch Manning has not lived up to the media-generated hype, which maybe not be fair for Arch. He's going to show up in this game. It's a big rivalry matchup. I think he's been there just sitting behind, seeing this matchup the last 2 years as a backup to Quinn Ewers. He's going to be ready to rock in this game. We hope that John Mateer is ready to play. I think it's a bit of gamesmanship by Oklahoma to say he's probable headed into this week. He broke his throwing hand just a few weeks back. I don't think he's going to play in this game. Their backup, Hawkins, terrible. One of the worst in the SEC. The line right now is Texas plus 1.5. Oklahoma's favored, and that is assuming John Mateer is going to play. If you're watching this and you see Texas plus 1.5, take it. I don't think Mateer is going to play. If that's the case, I just don't think Oklahoma is going to pass the 50-yard line against Texas. He's that bad. They've got weapons on the outside, but look for Texas plus 1.5 in this game. Lock it, flush it. This is also going to go against everything that we see in the Red River Shootout, but I like the under in this game again because I think Hawkins is going to play. I don't think Arch Manning and Texas are going to play speedy tempo. This isn't going to be one of those high-scoring, sling it around type games these two normally have. So take the under 44.5 in a boring Red River Shootout. We'll be watching nonetheless. All right, let's go over to Joey Max and Lock of the Week, number 2. We got Ball State 8.5-point dogs at Western Michigan. We talked about Western Michigan pulling a couple upsets. This time they're favored. Ball State, 8.5 points. I told you Joey Mack is on the right side of these. He got them when they were plus 9.5, and he wants me to know that. The bet in this game, Ball State plus 8.5 at the time of this recording. These guys went 20-0 in the second half against Mac favorite, Mac darling, Ohio Bobcats. This game this week is going to be slow moving. It's going to be sluggish. Western plays that way. Ball State's mobile quarterback's going to be running the football. Joey Mack let me know this guy was a cornerback, defensive back at the start of this season. He was actually named to the watch list of the award for Best Return Specialist of the Year. So this guy can really move. He's mobile. He's going to get some attempts this game against a slow Western Michigan team. Look for Ball State plus 8.5. Lock it. Flush it. All right, flipping the page, the first ever PTC challenge. I got to talk about this troll job. It was really, really hilarious. I get back from Chicago this week. PTC. I got a FedEx package at my house from him. I got home at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, walking in the door all tired. This guy hasn't sent me anything in his life. He hasn't given me a compliment in my life. I don't know if I've given him a compliment in his life. That's the type of relationship we have, and we love it. We love to argue college football. We love to argue Big Ten, SEC. We love to argue about the University of SEC, which is PTC's favorite college. So anyway, I come back from the airport, get this package from PTC, open it up. It's a hat. It's a University of SEC hat. I'll show you in just a minute, but we made a bet. The bet was going to be I take a Porcelain Pick, a lock of the week. I pick my favorite bet of the week. He takes the opposite side of that. If I get it right, kid owes me $200. He's owed me $200 for going on 7 years now, better part of a decade. He'll finally pay me that $200 if I win this bet. If I lose, I've got to wear the University of SEC hat next week on Porcelain Picks. So it looks a little something like this. We've got SEC on the front, all of these amazing SEC schools. I think PTC thinks these are the 16 best college football teams in America. He would rank them 1 through 16 right now. He might take any team that's ever been in the SEC and put them 17 through 30. But anyway, bet of the week. I've got Oregon minus 7.5. We're going to lock that one and flush that one. Dante Moore to DeCorian Moore. These guys are an electric combination. Dante Moore, I think he's going to win the Heisman this year when Oregon goes undefeated. The poise he showed in the whiteout game against Penn State before their fall against UCLA, that was just a sight to be reckoned with. I think Oregon's the real deal. I think they're the best team in America. That defensive line is going to really challenge Indiana. I think Fernando Mendoza on Indiana's offense, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. This is going to be a great matchup. I think points are going to go on the board. He's going to be under pressure, though. Look for him to have to sling it out early to Elijah Surratt, his best wideout and one of the best wide receivers in college football. This is going to be a fun one. Two great coaches as well, Kirk Cignetti and Dan Lanning. I don't like Dan Lanning for all the tomfoolery after the Penn State game, but I admit if he was my coach, I would obviously enjoy that. But Oregon, minus 7.5, lock it, flush it, PTC challenge. He's got the Indiana side. We'll see how that plays out. A side note, I also like the over in this game. Over 53.5, lock it, flush it. Points are going to be on the board. All right, let's move on. Back to a University of SEC game. You're welcome, PTC. Arkansas at Texas. Take the over in this game. The over is high, 68.5. There's going to be a lot of points put on this board. Two great quarterbacks who can run it, who can throw it. A lot of great weapons in this game. On the Arkansas side, they're coming in right now. They're 10.5-point dogs in this game. I think they're going to keep it closer than that. Not confident enough to pick them in that, but Taylon Green, this guy's the real deal. He's got 1,400 passing yards, 440 rushing yards on the season, and touchdowns to boot. He also turns the ball over, which is great for that over. On the Tennessee side, you got Joey Aguilar, excellent quarterback this year in his first year as a Vol. You got Chris Brazell, maybe one of the best wide receivers in college football, along with Elijah Surratt. He's going to be a first-round draft pick next year. He's got the most touchdowns in college football on the receiving side with 7 so far this year. Points are going to go on the board. Take that over 68.5. Lock it, flush it. Wouldn't be surprised if both teams got into the 40s in that one. All right, keep it with the University of the SEC. We got Florida plus 7.5 at Texas A&M. I like Florida, plus 7.5. They really bounced back. DJ Lagway looked great against Texas. Texas's defense is elite, even if their offense isn't. Florida was able to move the football. I think they're going to be able to play throwing it around against Texas A&M. I think that defense of Florida's is going to be able to give Marcel Reed some fits. Their defensive backs are strong. Who's going to win that battle? I think Texas A&M's got the best wide receiver duo in America in Mario Craver and in KC Conception. The two combined for almost 1,000 yards receiving together already through, 6 games this season. These guys are weapons. They're going to get their yards. I do like Florida to keep it close. I think it's going to be a 24-20 type game. So take the Gators, plus 7.5, lock it, flush it. We got Clemson, minus 14 at Boston College. It's minus 14 right now. Lock that one in. I've seen minus 14.5 this entire week. Take Clemson, lock that one, flush that one. BC is bad. They're 1-4 this year. Clemson's bouncing back. They're trying to get back to 500. I think they do that in a big way at Boston College. Georgia, minus 3.5 at Auburn. I like Kirby in this one. Just like DeBoer, I think Kirby's got a chip on his shoulder. We saw Alabama defeat them earlier this season. They love that chalkboard material. They love people doubting them. They're only 3.5-point dogs to Jackson Arnold, one of the worst quarterbacks in the SEC. They're not playing well this year. Jackson Arnold's had his time, but I don't think this is a good spot for him. I think he's going to be under pressure with that Georgia defensive line that's really turned it on a little bit the last couple weeks. So watch for some offensive line woes to continue for Auburn as Jackson Arnold is sacked at least 5 times in this game. Take Georgia, minus 3.5, lock it, flush it. All right, last pick of the night, we got Michigan at USC. Michigan's a 2.5-point dog. I think the wrong team's favored in this one. I'm going to go ahead and say Michigan's going to win outright. They're traveling out west to USC. USC's got that offensive firepower with Jaden Maeva. Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver, is having a great year. But on the Michigan side, they excel where USC struggles. Michigan's running game is strong. They average 6 yards a carry on the ground. Justice Haynes is a great running back. He's able to rip off the big ones. USC just can't cover the run. They give up a lot of big runs. Bryce Underwood's going to get some too from the quarterback position. Michigan plus 2.5 if you're afraid of the points. But my bet is Michigan money line. We'll take that juice. We're going to win that pick. We're going to get back into the green this week, all right? Because we have Porcelain Picks are here to deliver the locks you need as you scroll atop the Porcelain Throne. Make sure you subscribe. For Robbie Dixon, for Joey Mack, for PTC, happy college football, everyone.